32 days to the 2023 elections, Nigerians are gearing up for a period tagged as arguably the most important in the country's recent history. The Labour Party, whose candidate was the vice presidential candidate of the PDP in 2019, is gaining popularity, especially among Nigeria's massive youth population and even more incredibly on social media. Just last week, some issues were raised about the activities of some party members in the disbursement of cash to rally supporters around, while the Labour Party has since dismissed claims that it is woven from the old stock. Nigerians continue to press for more. Labour Party has thrown up a potentially exciting election, especially with its candidate's political experience. However, there are concerns, doubts, and even questions as to the capacity of the party to convince its own members and Nigerians. Today on Politics HQ, we have the DG of the Heritage Center and a special advisor to the Labour Party's candidate on public affairs. Well, quickly, let's welcome Dr. Kacho Ononuju. Good to see you, and thanks for your time. It's almost here for the election, and you know, Time Wars will say the 2023 election, but this is the year, and we're counting days now. So how's it going in your camp?
Thank you very much. We're doing very well. You can see what we have done. We have probably done a very good curation of our strategies. We started in the South. We took off from the youth. Now, after Christmas, the momentum has now surged in a lot of the North to actually show that the Northern Nigeria is not exclusive a stronghold of any candidate. What we have done has worked. During Christmas, our presidential candidates visited the internally displaced persons camps. He also repeated the same thing at the New Year. That now gave assurances to those who are displaced that the Labour Party will work to return them back to their lands and stop the slow motion civil war which we've seen across northern Nigeria, to bring the violence to end. Because we now see that the number one problem for most Nigerians in northern Nigeria by up to 42% is insecurity. So the visits, 2 visits within a fortnight has now shown them that he is the only candidate willing to fight the issue of insecurity, not just give it a mouthy dressage that will not be followed with action. We are real, and now you've seen us since we've gone to Kano. Kano was beautiful, Kaduna was marvelous, Katsina is good. We got to Kafanchan to also show not just going to the capital cities, but we'll also meet Nigerians in the different nooks and crannies, and that's why I went to Kafanchan to a massive welcome. Let me
jump in there, Dr. Katch. You're very familiar with the northern terrain, even if you are from Nigeria's southeast region. We saw the mammoth crowd in Kano. You know, time was when people will always say these are rented crowds. But in Kano, the understanding is that, well, if anyone comes, even you, if you're running and you come to Kano, you also have the same crowd. But on election day, does the crowd translate to what you see on the ballot?
Yes, that's why we have decided to do something very different. We decided to use the youth marches to actually build the basis of our crowd, not the old system rent crowd strategy. We now say those youth who were marching on their own for Mr. Peter Obi, they should now bring themselves all to the rallies, and that's what they did. So we are very grateful. We are following a totally different strategy, and it is working. We're using the youth rallies to build the crowds at the rallies, and then we believe that's something very, very different, because when the youth are on their own, using their own money, their own resources, their own energies to organize those marches, we now told them that we will consider them as stakeholders in what we're doing. Bring those here normal youth rallies, bring the youth crowd, all the youth volunteer groups, bring yourselves out, and that's it. So instead of us, the party, trying to boss rented crowds to venues. No, we asked the volunteer groups to bring their members all to, so the youth you see, different youths from different locations simply are competing to
and Dr. Catch, this is where I come in because yes, you have been able to change the dynamics. Your party is changing it. But another thing here is that, let me also quickly mention this. Your party has been able to start talking about funding, crowdfunding, individual funding in politics, which is very almost absent in Nigeria. But the thing here has to do with the disbursement of these monies that have been given by Nigerians from across the world, not just only in the country. And there's been some brouhaha in respect of that. Speak to us on what's going on.
We are coming into it right now. We did not know about the disbursements, which were being done through the crowdfunding platforms. And you should understand that we, the Labour Party, we do not have control over these private crowdfundings. And that's why we could not say a thing. We've only just come to discover them right now because of the small stories that you're hearing about it. Other than that, we stay away. Those who are able to do the crowdfunding on their own and to organize those units, which we now refer to as volunteer groups, we do not have the abilities to actually tell them what to do. That's why we've not had any control over these kind of things. These are private citizens-based crowdfunding schemes. The Labour Party does not have control over those things. We do, and a lot of the people who organize themselves and say they are volunteer groups, they know themselves in the different localities and communities where they exist. We, the Labour Party, do not have control over their activities. We are only now beginning to hear about the issues around those raised funds the same way the public is hearing. We pray, we hope we have control over them and we'll be able to advise them. But then that's what happens when people on their own raise their own money and they use that to do what they want to do.
But again, does your party appreciate the fact that we have individuals, selfless individuals who are making such audacious move to ensure that your party becomes victorious?
We are very grateful, but we also recognize that they are doing this because of their quest to usher in a better Nigeria. That's why I said we appreciate all the efforts, all the private crowdfunding efforts across the country, but we are frustrated that we have no control over them. And that's why we cannot speak to this crisis until whenever they come up. And when they come up, we have their complaints. Well, till now, we still do not have control over what they do with their money. But we appreciate tenfold they are using their private money to crowdfund for our own advantage. And we believe it is a combined enterprise in which we and the youth and the people who do this crowdfunding are in the same business.
So in your official, all right, Dr. Kachi, in your official capacity, is there an account or pool where people can actually reach out, for instance, to help? If you say you do not have, because now I quite understand that if you have an octopussy, situation whereby you have more than enough who are going all out to, source for funds. But the thing here is that does your office have a pool where such should have been directed to?
Yes. We try to create a general pool, but each time we try to do such things, agencies of government would normally go in and close the accounts. And when they close the accounts, start giving them trouble and the household. So we advise them, raise your money yourselves, use it to organize in your given geographies, do your things yourself, don't let anybody teach you what to do. Earlier, we had many Labour Party people who said, look, let them organize and put them under us. But then we found out it's very difficult to control people who are crowdfunding and raising their own money. It's also very difficult to tell them what to do with it. So in this case, They are doing what they're doing, and we are seeing it, and we appreciate what they are doing, because togetherly, all they've done is to simply give us a lot of mind share within the population, and we appreciate what they're doing very, very much.
Let's speak to this other issue about structure. We started off by talking about what we saw in Kano. And I recall the last time you were on the show, yes, no thanks to the bad, internet connection on the day. We're talking about one section of the Nigerian, populace that many people seem to have forgotten. We're talking about the displaced persons. And your party so far has been making incursion into displaced camps. Speak to us now that we're having a good time here talking over the internet. Is it something that has to do with also looking to ensuring that these people also have their voter cards? It's not just a visit. It must also translate into some kind of vote for you and your party, isn't it?
A lot of them do have their voters' cards. A lot of them are Nigerians, no matter where they are. And this is not the first election in which displaced persons have participated. This also will not be last. But we want this to be the last election in which, after their participation, they will no more participate if we get to power as displaced persons. They will participate as indigenous people who have been returned back to their ancestral lands, because that's the reason. That's why my principle has been going to them to give them the hope that, look, we know we are displaced, but should we win, we'll make sure you're returned back to your place, because it is actually against United Nations Convention to have indigenous people displaced from their ancestral habitats. And we are planning to bring them back. And that's the reason why you've seen a lot of optimism for my party in the North, because we were able to reach out to those communities that were traumatized with displacement. And we've told them, we will work to bring you back. We are not those people who are very afraid to confront the truth about our society. And you should know through history, no society ever, good societies do not run away from their history. They confront it and they make their amends where we think there are amendments to be made. We will do very well. My principal has shown he wants to resettle Nigerians, and he wants to return the country into normalcy, and he wants, as he is telling people right now, to end the insecurity that seems to dog a lot of our countrymen and to have had them displaced.
Dr. Catch, from what we're saying, is it safe to now say the days of tribal politics are over?
That is the reasons why we're...
Well, it looks like, we have... Dr. Catch, I think if you can hear me...
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, great, because I lost you for a bit. Maybe you can take it from the top again, because we lost you for a bit.
I am back to you. I am here with you.
All right, then. So go ahead.
The identity politics of the past should be gone. We believe in the politics of inclusion. We believe that every Nigerian, that's why you're seeing us right now up north. We're meeting all communities on their own. My principal is meeting everybody on their own. We are not doing that politics of slave where the destiny of millions will be given to a single man who is told you own the structure. We're not doing that structure politics. Ours is to meet people in their home. We meet the Egalas where they are. We meet the Wurukums where they are. We meet the Biroms where they are. We go to the Tangalis where they are. We meet the Hausa communities as we travel to Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano. We meet everybody in their own places. We do not believe in the politics of give it to this man and he will control everybody. We will not do that anymore. We have gone away from identity politics. We believe as a party that every Nigerian matters. Every Nigerian is as important as the other. That's the reason why you've seen my principal was not afraid to go and meet Nigerians who are displaced. Because if people are displaced in Benue, in Taraba, in Plateau, or in Kogi and Niger State, so will those who are in Lagos and Ogun be threatened that after those who are displaced currently, it will be their turn. We want to bring that politics to an end. We do not want the politics of tribe, no, not the politics of religion, but we are playing the politics of inclusion, where all facets of the diverse Nigerian society will feel a sense of belonging. We do not intend a politics that will do away with the Christians or do away with the Muslims or exclude people based on their tribe. Nothing to do with the nepotism that the APC has seemed to want to institutionalize. We will never go to that politics, and we reject it wholeheartedly.
And quickly, it's just 32 days to the big day. That's the presidential election and National Assembly election. Let's talk about the electoral umpire. And I understand your party has also been following activities of the electoral umpire. The chairman spoke also in the UK just after your candidate, where he spoke about the percentage of young Nigerians, specifically from 18 and 34, comprising the bulk percentage of those that have already registered. Does that excite you as a Labour Party man?
Yes. The crux of our campaign is based on the excitement of the young population. And that's the reasons why those that I refer to as the dinosaurs, who have instrumented protocols of state capture to put the country where it is right now, we believe that the youth have come to reject those people, and the youth are yearning for protocols that will instrument processes that will return the country up to them. That's why my principal goes about with the mantra of take back your country. We believe it is possible to give Nigeria back to the youth who make up more than 70% of Nigeria's voting population. And that is our primary aim, to actually embrace the youth, show them that the country can possibly be returned back to them, and we can, together working with the youth, take the country away from those proponents of state capture who seem now to have undermined our country. And when you ask them, they will tell you, Emiloko, it is my turn. No, it is not the turn of anybody. It is the turn of Nigerians to take back their country. That's why we are working to have an enterprising partnership with the young people of Nigeria as a way to return the country back to Nigerians.
And quickly here, for the electoral umpire, what's your reading about its preparedness for this big one?
We have had assurances from INEC that they will stick to the electoral law, electoral act as amendment, and we believe as amended, the electoral act serves the purpose of the majority of this country. Those who are currently going to court to seek to undermine the electoral act, where it says that the use of the BVAS authentication system will simply make sure that nobody will be allowed to vote if he's not biometrically captured through the BVAS technology architecture. And we agree with that, and we are with it. We are not party to those who seek to bring court actions to try to outlaw that process that says you must be biometrically authenticated before you can cast your vote as a voter. We are very comfortable with that, and we are hoping that when such protocols are implemented, Nigerians will be able to vote in line with their own mindset and their choices. And we believe that will give my principal a very easy victory, as being shown currently through his vast acceptance by majority of people of Nigeria. We intend to have that particular protocol, as protected in the amended electoral act, serve Nigeria's interest on the day of the election, and we believe that will also bring us advantage as a political party.
You know, it brings us to voter education, and it's also a responsibility of political parties, not just with the electoral umpire or perhaps some other agency of government. How well is your party doing, going about sensitizing the people on how this election will go? Because there is a different thing having the crowd and another having an illiterate crowd who does not understand how this election will pan out on the day. So speak to us on that. Voter sensitization.
We have noticed that there is nothing like LP or Labour Party on the voting cards. We have noticed that it is only the logo of our party that will be there. We have now set purpose towards educating those our voters that they should look out for the symbol of Papa, Mama, and Pekin. That means a man, his wife, and a child. That constitutes the logo of the Labour Party. And that's what we have started since past 2 weeks, to educate people that they should not be looking for LP or Labour Party, but look at the emblem that bears the sign of a father, a mother, and a child. That is our logo going into the elections. We have recognized this, and we have now set purpose towards bringing education to our supporters who will need to know these things so that our votes do not go the very wrong way.
And the last one here is security. And, you know, in Nigeria, we still have some places where it's almost impossible or difficult to get to when it comes to voting materials and even security. As much as the IG and his team, they've been speaking, saying they're all ready and set. Are you excited about that?
Well, we pray, we wish security will improve better than it is right now. But then what can you do? We're all locked up in Nigeria, and all we can get is that which Nigeria is able to give. We'll continue to pray that it gets better than it is currently. We're not satisfied with the current state of security across Nigeria. As you can see, insecurity still tops the list of Nigeria's problems. We'll continue to pray. We'll continue to work with the agencies. We'll continue to push. We'll continue to urge them to improve on what we currently have, so that on election day, Nigerians will be able to go out and cast their votes without fear of being harassed or fear of being killed by any group of those who may be instrumenting protocols to undermine the people's trust in the fairness of electoral outcomes.
Dr. Catch Ononuju, many thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.